welcome to day 14 and 15 of Knit Rainbows Vlogmas 2024. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Kimberly McAlinden, and if you stick around, you will see the knitting that I'm doing this holiday season, the tutorials that I have going on almost every day, and we're just scenes from my daily life about last night.
A rivalry that started in the biggies and still continues on. A rivalry that runs through the heart of New Jersey. A rivalry that has produced unforgettable games, buzzer beaters, and even brawls. This is a game that puts you down in the remember when column. This is a game that puts you down in our history books. This is a game that you talk about for years to come. So for now, we are going to turn those green signs scarlet. Those billboards are you, and those toll booths Rutgers basketball. Right now it's time to stand up, Rutgers fan. Right now it's time that New Jersey team started. Right now, it's time for Rutgers basketball.
So I opted to spend some time on Saturday with my family. I didn't realize that it was going to go pretty much all day, and then we ended up going out for dinner, and I just had a wonderful, wonderful time with my family. I absolutely loved just getting up and going, and it was really, really great, and Rutgers won, so you know, it was great. It was great. My husband was ecstatic. My husband graduated from Rutgers. So the technique video yesterday, or on day 13, was about the spidering technique that I do when I join a new ball of yarn so that it isn't thick. And I have had a couple questions, so I'm going to address them here. I don't necessarily spider every single time that I weave in ends. It depends on where it is. It depends on how thick the yarn is. With fingering weight yarn, I don't necessarily do it. The reason why I showed you it on day 13 was because it was a shawl and it was in lace, and so when you have a very open pattern, you don't want the double thickness of the yarn, and then when you're weaving in the yarn, I wanted you to not be able to see it at all. But if you would like to use it every time you weave in your ends, then go right ahead and do that. It's great for shawl knitting when you're dealing with thinner yarns. It's a great thing. So I did finish the knitting, and when I was binding off, I wanted to show you how I bind off the last stitch of anything really when I'm working back and forth. And I also wanted to show you, as I was getting close to the end of the yarn supply that I had, like, how did I know how much yarn I was going to have? So let's go to the tutorial videos now. All right, so I'm knitting away on the the ribbing, which is the end of campside. And I only have this much yarn left, so I want to make sure of how much yarn I have left that I use per row, so I can use as much yarn as possible. So I'm going to open, I'm going to go to grams, I'm going to weigh this. So I have 24 grams left. I'm going to write that on my pattern, 24 grams. And then I'm going to knit one row and then weigh it again and see how many grams I use per row to know how many rows I'm going to have left with this yarn so that I can use it all up. that wasn't so bad, right? Now I'm going to pull that stitch. And then I'm going to pull it up. And look, you don't have that big hangy thing hanging over the side. Now that works anytime you are, and then of course I will weave this in. And I will actually spider this. I will take it out. I'm not necessarily going to do a single ply. I'll probably do 2 plies going up this way and 2 plies going over this way. Hey, why don't we do it? For those of you that didn't watch day 13, let's do it. So remember, you're going to want a darning needle that is a little bit, has a little bit of a little point here. And then, all right, so I'm going to separate this. Remember, this is 4 plies, so I'm going to separate it in half. All right. And then using my, these are called embroidery needles. I got them on Amazon. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to skim over the stitches. That's why you want it to be a little sharp. You want to just skim it. And pull that down. You can also come back in on itself if you want to, if that would make you feel better. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing in a different direction with these two. I'm going to pierce the yarn. Just go ahead and skim it. And if you want to come back a little bit, you can, if that would make you feel better. All right. And now we're going to cut. And there is the end of our shawl. I love it. Let me know what you think. What did you think? Pretty cool, right? Math is math. You know, when I was growing up, I know this is just terrible to admit, but when my father retired, my mom had a party for him, and she asked all of us children to get up and say something about our father. And what I told my story was when I took the PSATs. So for those of you that don't live in the United States, or I don't know, aren't old enough, PSATs were before the SATs, which were like your college boards. Like it was your knowledge, you know, and whatever the score was, you know, helped you figure out where you could apply to college. So I took my PSATs, and the highest you could get on the English and the math section was 700, right? Or 800. So 1600 was a perfect score. So I take the PSATs, and my father comes home from work, and he's sitting down, and I said, Dad, you know, I got my PSAT scores. And he said, oh, really? And I said, yep, I got a 640. And he looked up and he said, really? He said, that's amazing. Which section? I was like, yeah, no, Dad, together. I got it together. And he just kind of went, oh, looks like we need to get you a tutor. Which is true. So when my children were growing up, they're worried about tests. I mean, I still have a daughter that's in school, but when they were worried about tests and things, I used to tell that story all the time and say, and look, I do math every single day for my job. I need what I need to know, and that has worked just fine for me. So anyway, I don't know why I went there. Okay, let me show you. This is Vita Lifestyle up to day 13 because I have 14 and 15. So here was the knitting. Pretty little speckles every once in a while. This was like the butterscotch one. Let's see. Yep, butterscotch bar. And let's open 14, which is Fudge Falls. Ooh, these are like the browns. Yeah, oh, I love this color. Ugh. Look at that gorgeous brown. That is going to be awesome. And day 15 today is Ice Cream Canyon. Oh, look, there's a rainbow. Ooh, pretty, pretty. It's like the Neapolitan ice cream reminds me of. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So this will be the next strip. I will have those ready for tomorrow. This will be my evening knits. And then we come to the Cozy Knitter. Come on. Here are my socks. I am caught up to day 15. All right. I don't know if you figured it out, but I figured it out this morning. So look, it's red and then another type of red, like in the same family, and then blue and blue. And, you know, like khaki, and then purple, green. So every other one is like the same color, but different color of that same color. So this is a mint green and then another green and then yellow, and I'm assuming, oh, yep. Spoiler alert. Hello. So I think that's really cool that I figured it out. I also figured out, because I'm already at like almost 8 or 9 inches, especially when it's blocked. So I'm going to knit all of my stripes, knit my toe, and then do an afterthought heel. And the afterthought heel is going to be wherever it ends up, but, you know, close to where just one little stripe is. Now, in the past, what I would do is knit a row in a waist yarn and then put that row back on the needles and then knit so that I can just pull it up. But I'm going to snip one. I'm going to snip a row on this one. Because I really, really don't know where to stop it. And I want to knit every single stripe and then put the toe on it and see how much we get. I don't want to waste one single bit of this yarn. So I've decided that this morning as well, as I was, 3 stripes past where I would normally put the heel in. Thank you for all of your comments saying, where you put, where you start your heel. I really appreciate it. I also happened to read the pattern. It said 50 rows, which, I didn't know if it was 50 rows and what gauge. So I looked that up and I'm way past there, way past. So that's what I'm going to do. This week coming up is the Zoom class for the Sheep Locks wreath. I'm getting like the step outs ready, and the step outs are every step that I'm going to teach. I need to have a sample so that in the 2-hour period, whilst I'm talking, I have everything ready. So that's gonna be what I'm working on now for the rest of the day. Our oldest son, Colin, is coming for Sunday dinner, and I'm really, really excited to see him. We're going to have a fire, family, football fun. Really excited to do that. And that's about it. That's what's going on. And this week coming up, I'll just be continuing knitting, continuing coming here, and just enjoying this holiday season. I hope whatever you're doing this Sunday, you're doing something that's making you happy and that makes you smile. And if that's with a group of people, great. If it's alone, great. If you're knitting, even better. Or crocheting, or embroidering, or reading a book, or taking a walk, or riding your horse, or studying for finals. I love you, Marin. I miss you. I hope that you take time to stop and to breathe and to appreciate this wonderful day that you've been given, because it really is a gift. All right, everyone, have a wonderful night, and I will see you all tomorrow. My oldest son, Colin, our oldest son, for the Lovely Locks wreath. No.